Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chute Bosses. Alex Dodd here with Zach Alvira, and we're joined by a special guest today, seven-time NFR qualifier, number one man in the world, Will Lummus in the steer wrestling.
Will, thanks for joining us. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing great.
First of all, you gotta tell the people what's going on. They're gonna be looking at this and they're gonna be like, "That's not Will Lummus. I don't see a big red beard on that guy."
Yeah, they got to go back to about the first 4 years, 4 years of my career, man. I didn't ever, the first time I could always grow a beard, but the first time I really grew one was in 21 when I was rodeoing with Clayton Haas, and obviously Clayton's always had a pretty meaty beard, so I was like, well, I might as well jump on this wagon too. So, so I guess 21 is when I really kind of, embraced the beard or whatever. But my dad was always the guy when I was growing up. He was always wakes up every morning, shaves every morning. So I just kind of grew up that way, and I don't know. I guess I got rebellious after a while.
Well, man, I'm sure it probably makes things a little bit lighter in the summertime. You mentioned earlier we were talking about some hot rodeos that you're going to. Kind of where are you at on the rodeo road right now? What's coming up this week?
Man, we were in Caldwell yesterday. I clipped a bear to be winning the round over there. It's a 1 and a short. I was 3-8 over there. We got the bear, and we're got a day off today. Gooding, Idaho in the morning. Burley, Idaho Thursday night. Moses Lake, Washington Friday morning. So an all-night drive over there to Moses Lake, and then we're Canby on Saturdays. Canby, Oregon on Saturday, and a good two-header over there. So, busy week, but most all those rodeos are going to be pretty hot. Moses Lake may be the exception. That morning, but it's going to be kind of tough on the horses driving around, but at least until we go to Moses Lake, most of the rodeos are pretty close together, so it shouldn't be bad.
Well, Cowboy Christmas always gets a lot of, attention because of how busy that entire week is, but this time of year is really pivotal right now. I mean, we've got the cinch playoffs coming up. You're going to be in, Sioux Falls more than likely, I'm assuming anyway. I mean, just in general, to keep going at a very fast pace like you are, how key are these rodeos, especially as now you're chasing the World Championship as the number one steer wrestler?
Yeah, man, it's, July and August are always super busy for us, man. And my motto anymore is like, if I'm going from home, man, I want to be running a steer. I don't really want days off. Other than the exception of a day here or there, just, let horses kind of catch their legs and, because that's just as important as running a steer and trying to win money. They've got to be, fresh as well as us. So it's kind of nice for us to slow down and have a day off and eat something decent. And same thing, let the horses kind of just be still for a little while. But yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game, man. I mean, July and August, they're so busy, man. A guy can go to 5 to 7 rodeos a week, seems like. And every week, from July, I guess basically guys from Reno, the last week of June until Ellensburg, which is here in a couple of weeks. And then I feel like in September, it kind of dwindles off. I mean, you've got Pendleton coming up right after Puyallup, but even that weekend of Puyallup, I mean, it's not that busy of a week, and so is Pendleton. And then the next week, everybody's kind of easing back towards Texas, for Albuquerque, Abilene, some of those rodeos. So, I feel like it's definitely bare knuckle July and August, but guys can kind of catch their breath in September, and then on the flip side of that, if a guy's on a bubble, he can get a little crazy and fly around and still get to some rodeos. So,
Man, what do you do to keep your wits about you in the summer? You mentioned being gone from the middle of June to all the way through August, and then potentially pushing in September. How do you keep your head on your shoulders and keep some sort of routine on the road?
Yeah, drink a lot of whiskey. No, man. It's tough, man. I feel like this summer more than ever, man. I've battled injuries this summer, and had to go home for a week or so here and there. And Dakota Eldridge is with us too, and same thing. He's battled a hamstring injury, and so it's but we're getting older. I mean, that's just kind of the name of the game. But it's we get to ride a great horse, Swamper, owned by Broomtree Ranch, and Winston McGraw, who's with us as well. That honestly, even when you're injured, having Winston Hazen on a great horse, Lucky, that they also own, they Clayton Haas Hayes for me, and Dakota on the NFR at the NFR last year. Just being able to have those two horses underneath you, even if you are injured, it just makes your job easier. You can trust your horse, you can trust your hazer, and it's just, pain, man. I mean, that's just the deal, So, it's a little tougher keeping your wits about you as far as that goes, man. But we've done this long enough, especially Dakota and I, that it's just another day. We wake up and we go run a steer, and then we go, we move on to the next day. So.
Yeah, I know you were battling a rib injury, I believe it was in Calgary, and since then you've only gotten better and better and better as the season has gone along. I mean, like we already mentioned, you elevated yourself to the #1 spot in the world. How did you battle through that pain? I know it's obviously it's the cowboy way, just drink a little whiskey and just deal with it. But I mean, truly, a rib injury especially, that's not easy to deal with.
Yeah, and my wife had told me at Calgary that she didn't really know how I did it, but I did it July the 3rd at Basin City, Washington, and I took the next day at Malala, Oregon off, and then my first steers back was St. Paul the following day, and it definitely hurt. And Calgary, Calgary sucked, but at the same time, I was drawing pretty good steers and again got the right grade horses, but I knew after running a few steers that 10, 15 minutes after my run, I was right back to where not normal. I was still sore and still, in some pain, but it was more of an ache than it was a sharp pain. So my deal was I could run a steer and I knew it was gonna suck. I did, but I could get through the run and then 10, 15 minutes later I knew I was gonna be fine. So that's kind of what got me through, just being able to knowing that I wasn't going to be hurting like that all day, that was the deal. I could deal with a little bit of sore, a little bit of ache, but if I'd have had to deal with the sharp, excruciating pain all day, every day, that I would have probably not been able to make it. But that was just knowing that there was some sort of light at the relief at the end of the tunnel, I guess, was kind of how I got through it. So.
Will, let's go back to the origins for you. How did you get into steer wrestling? Because we were doing a little research and I believe you played some high school football back in the day. So how did you transition from that to steer wrestling?
Yeah, I grew up roping. I grew up roping calves, roping steers, but my uncle made the national finals 4 times in the steer wrestling. And that was the first year was '92, and then he went home and got a job, and then the next year was 9 years later in 2001, and then he made them in '01, '02, and '05. And so that was I always kind of had that backing. My dad always helped him, hazed for him. My dad is an excellent hazer. And then I got right there my sophomore junior year of high school when I really started growing because I was always pretty small, honestly, until right there I kind of started playing football and working out and stuff in high school and got big and so we started the steer wrestling and I continued to rope calves and continued to excel at that as well. But it just seemed like the steer wrestling came easy. I had a great teacher and my dad could put them in, where I needed them every time. And I was blessed to have a couple of good practice horses and a good rodeo horse. And, the steer wrestling it just came pretty simple, and honestly, it was more simple than roping calves just because, it was just, me and the steer, and it was with my bare hands, there wasn't multiple ropes and jerk lines and pigging strings, and then you got a flank, and then the calf may kick, and so there's so many more variables in my opinion in calf roping versus steer wrestling. So, I just felt like I could excel at that at a faster rate.
Will, you're from Byhalia, Mississippi. You're a Southern boy. What's it mean for you to be able to represent your state on the biggest stage in pro rodeo?
Yeah, I grew up in West Point, Mississippi, man, and I was there until I was about 24 years old or so, and or 24 or 5, and Jen and I got married, and we bought that place in Byhalia. But the first year, a couple years, I made the finals. I wanted to keep that hometown West Point, Mississippi, and make them proud as well, and still have tons of support out of West Point. But just moving to Byhalia, it was simpler. It got me right up there by Memphis International, about 30 minutes from there, so I could fly in and out. It made sense for us, and my wife's a pharmacist and sells real estate, so it made sense for her as well. There's, that's just booming up there where we're at. So, and then she's from about 15 minutes from there as well. So when I was gone, she was close to family. But yeah, man, just being able to support, yeah, or not support, but to represent Mississippi, man, it's there's a lot of people that I mean, you look at Tyler Pearson and some guys that have moved out of the state of Mississippi to to further their careers and whatever. It's I think they're still proud to be from Mississippi, but I was the guy that never wanted to leave. So I'm Mississippi and I plan on dying in Mississippi. So yeah, I mean, it means the world to be able to represent them and carry the flag. Every year I've made the finals.
Yeah, and you're still coaching there in Mississippi as well, I believe, at Northwest. What's it mean to be able to give back to the next generation of rodeo athletes in your state?
Yeah, it's huge. I've always tried to figure out what I wanted to do, and I went to a physical therapist assistant school and got my degree in that, and thought maybe that was the route, and then this coaching job kind of came along, and and honestly, it's the best of both worlds for me because I get to stay in the sport, but I get to give back to kids and get to try to teach them things that I learned on the road, and um, but also try to further their career outside of rodeo. We're a huge technically based college with all kind of tech degrees as far as welding and HVAC and just all kinds of different things where guys can go. And I mean, I'm a 2 year college, but they can come to me for 4 years and get four different technical degrees. And leave, 3 or 4 different degrees and leave and own and own their own business and run their own business and kind of be a one-stop shop. I mean, it's if I could go back, I would do that. I mean, I see the trades are making a comeback. And in my opinion, if you're not going to be a CPA or an engineer or doctor or going on to a 4 year college or don't plan to go to a 4 year college, or if you do, you're not getting a degree that's worthwhile. If you're just going to a 4 year college just to get a degree, I think it behooves people more to go get 3 or 4 different, certificates where a guy can go make a living and a hell of a living, I mean, right out of college. You know what I mean? It's just the technical programs are making a huge comeback.
Obviously, being from Mississippi too, college football season's coming up. Are you a Rebs guy or a Bulldogs guy? I know it's kind of house. There's a line down the middle of the state. Where do you fall?
Man, I'm just a football fan, dude. I don't have a team. I don't have an NFL team or a college team. One of my best friends growing up, Tommy Keys, man, from West Point, Mississippi, he walked on and made the team at Alabama and got a couple of rings with them, and so that was really cool. To have a friend like that do that, and it's I'm a huge football fan. I'm a huge baseball fan, but again, I just don't. I just enjoy the sport. If I can show up anywhere and go watch a game and or watch a game on TV, and I'm just a fan of the sport.
Do you ever try to take time while you're on the road if you're near maybe a stadium or near a college? Do you ever try to go out to a game, or is it kind of just the schedule's just too crazy?
Yeah, it's usually too crazy. I mean, we've done it before. We've been around Denver and gone to a Rockies games, which they're terrible.
We're well aware here
Yeah.
in Colorado Springs.
We've done some of that, but again, it's usually like when we have a day off like this, it's I don't know. We've tried to do it a lot more, man, but it seems like they have away games when we have off days, and it just never really lines up. So.
Well, Will, thank you so much for joining us. I guess kind of last question here. You've been so close to winning that coveted gold buckle. What's it going to take to get over the hump in 2025?
I just I've just had some bad breaks. I just don't. I don't feel like I broke a barrier in the 10th round one year on a steer that wasn't very good at all, and just kind of. I don't even feel like I beat myself there. I just I took the same start I took all week and just got the barrier. And last year 1/10 of a second it ultimately is what ended up costing me that gold buckle. And so it's just I kind of just need I need a break to go my way right there, kind of at the end. And again, I mean, last year there were some steers along the way throughout the week where I stubbed my toe and could have got 1/10 of a second on any of those steers. So. That's on me too, but I just need to go in there and do my job, not stub my toe, and I started I started rodeoing and as a way to make money, and it's been fantastic. My career's been awesome, and I could walk away today and be totally fine with how it went. But I started this to make money. And I'm the guy that like if I do win second or if I win fourth or if I win fifth and I made 150,000 while I was out there, it's kind of hard to be mad. And even at a regular rodeo, I'm the guy that usually plays it safe and just goes and makes a living doing what I love to do. So my plan this year, and I've done it all year, and I broke a bear at Caldwell last night, and I'm not backing off this year. If it goes my way, it goes my way. But I'm going to I'm going to play offense this year and not play so much defense and just go into the NFR and play offense. And if it goes my way, great. And if it doesn't, hopefully we win a bunch of money. And it's just, it's just the name of my career. I'm just the guy that goes out there and wins money and tries to make a living. So, and I'm okay with that, but hopefully we can get a break go our way this year and hopefully get a go buckle. But if I do win a go buckle, I may get pretty scarce. Y'all may not see me very much anymore.
There you go, man. Well, Will, again, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck as you go down the road. I'm sure we'll see you somewhere.
Yeah, thanks, guys.